Hi everyone. Now I was just kind of rumming through my boxes, and one of the flies I like to fish is this pattern here. This one's had it's had one or two fish. This just gonna push the wing a wee bit better. Basically, you can see the wing. It's basically a Waterhen blower, but with a wing. So I basically just call it the Waterhen dun. Because it's got a wing rather than just the normal hackle and body. It's a great wee fly. Now I'm going to be tying this one using, there's just one or two dressings. The main dressing that we would tie a waterhen, or a person would tie a waterhen, was to use obviously waterhen. I would use the covert feathers from the front of the wing, and then use mole, and then a silk, a yellow silk. Now the one I'm going to be tying, I'm going to be using the feather from the back of the wing, these smaller feathers here with my finger. Nice feathers, they're lovely and soft. Now they were used a lot, you'll see it mentioned in a lot of the old dressings. And the other type of fibre would use would be water rat, as they would call it. Now this is a small rodent sort of skin. I get given these from a friend, and they're great for tying a lot of flies. So I mean, these are wee skins. We used to get them at the fly fairs and so as well. I bought some off believe it or not, eBay a few years ago. They were taxidermy sort of cut-offs. Sometimes you get that. But this is a great pattern. It's a great early season, throughout the season fly. You catch a lot of times. So I'm going to tie it anyway, just to let you see. Now, question I got asked as well is, one was, what bobbin holder do I use for the piezo silks, the smaller spools, or the traditional ones? To show you this size. This is the old gossamer silks, this is a white obviously. So basically for these spools, I still use the TMCO, but when you buy this, you'll get it obviously with them obviously very close. You just keep it or adjust it to suit the spool for that size. But in this one I've obviously adjusted to suit even a bigger spool than a standard one, meaning wider at this end. Just pulling the arms out to adjust it so that they sit in, and they sit there. It allows the thread to obviously run smooth. You've got to adjust these, but this is the main one I use. There was other makes that will do that. I do have one that was actually made especially for piezos, but unfortunately they're not available anymore. It was an old Thompson one. But anyway, we're going to use this silk. The silk I use is a sub, was another question. Is the Yali silk, this one. And the brand, or use this 100-100, that's how I usually type it in. This is a code number 214, which I'm using as a primrose yellow, as a sub. And then this one there's 200 metres. Now, if you don't like these spools, it's quite easy to keep your old spools and spin it on, take off some, or even the smaller ones. It's up to yourself. Obviously, being silk, you must wax it. Yeah, I'm going to be using the silk obviously to tie the flies. So you can use it as a rib as well. There's a couple of ways. You can rib the fly with the waste piece. You can do that, but in this one I'm just going to use I'm not going to do that because they're going to be seeing enough of the yellow coming through the way I'm going to tie it. So anyway, I'm going to start, in this case, the size 12, this is a fulling mill, it's an all-purpose medium. 12s, 14s are two sizes I use a lot. So we start about a good head length away, so 1.5 mil. I'm going to come down with the thread. And now this is where you can either go to the barb, in line with the barb, or to the point, or in between, whatever you feel. It's up to yourself. So I'm just slightly by. Now to flatten the thread, I'm going to spin it anti-clockwise. Just turn your hook to the side, and when you do that, it stops the point of the hook hitting. I'm going to wax my thread. Usually pays you to run your dubbing needle or something just along the edge. That opens it out. And what I'm going to do is take away some of the small rodent, as I call it, and then apply it to the, just sit it on it, just lay it on, a wee drop more, oops, pulled off too much, and then what I do is put my finger at the very bottom where the dubbin's there to this point. I lay my finger there, spin your bobbin clockwise, and this will tighten it back up. Now it is wax thread, so there's plenty of grip. Now you can tighten this up to you so by spinning the thread even more. But I'm just going to wind it up. You want to be seeing the yellow through. Put on a good amount that it's going to reach right to the top. There, I'm actually too far. So you want to give that a good 1.5 mils. And there we are, you get a lovely body. You get that yellow coming through. The yellow olive, or the yellow dun, gives you a nice olive. So it does. Then I'm going to wax my thread. Now, this is where you could put the wing on before or after. It's up to yourself. I'm going to put it on before. Now the wing I'm using is from the actual lovely wings you get. It's a lovely dun. It's a medium dun, if you want to call it, off the Waterhen. And you just need a slip from either side. It's quite easy just to tear them off. Makes great dry fly wings, this as well. So it's slip from either side. And then I'm actually I want the outside of the feather, which is basically what's going to happen, is they're going to slightly come away from one another. And I don't mind that. They do pull in a wee bit. What I'm doing here is just lining up the ends, so the same length. Depending on the thickness of the wing, got to remember this is quite a fine fibre. And once you start to actually fish it, it will reduce a bit to about the normal size. So that's why you'll see old flies with a good size wing, but they will reduce when they're being fished. Length, it can be to the back of the hook. I like it obviously to taper towards the back of the hook. And then hold that in finger and thumb. Now we take the thread up into our fingers and finger and thumb here, and then pinch the thread as you go up. As you come round, you're round in front of the wing. As you come down, there's a small loop formed within your finger and thumb, and then you slowly pull through. Now you want the wing practically on top of the shank when you do that, so there's no bump or space. You want to do it a couple of times. See how the wing's sitting? Check the length. I think I'm actually short on my side, so I'm short on my side. I don't think the fish will notice, but I will. So I'm going to go back, and what I'm doing is my thumb finger is the one that's short, so I'm just going to bring it towards myself, just slightly. 1, 2, check my length again. That's fine this time. The wing's a bit more in line now. That's perfect. Good side wing, as I say, once you start to fish it, it will reduce a wee bit. And then what you want to do is come in with your scissors. You need a good sharp pair of scissors, an angled cut. Now there's a couple of turns holding the, or at least 3 turns there anyway, holding the wing. And because I'm using a silk, what I've got to do is make sure I don't overdo the head. Now the silk is much thicker than, like, to give you an idea, it's probably 2 or 3 turns. 1 ton of silk is like 2 or 3 tons of modern. So what I'm going to do is come in, I've actually used up feathers. I've got a nice feather here. Just going to draw back what I need. What I don't need, sorry, I'll take away the fluff at the base. I'm going to locate the tip of the feather. So I've got the tip of the feather with the hackle pliers. It's much easier to do it that way. Then I'm going to trim and leave enough to tie it on. Just offer it. No, usually best from the top down so your fingers are not in the wing. And then you're like, what, 2, 3, 4 turns there. And then I'm going to wind the hackle and just draw back the fibre slightly to get it started. And then just wind over those 4 turns. Just spreading the hackle, one turn front of the other. So you can draw it back with your fingers. Just a wee quick look, see what it looks like. Just going to go back a turn here. I mean, because it's silk, you can actually lay the hackle into the turns, and keeps them open. I'm going to come down 2 or 3 turns, and then come back up 2 or 3 turns. Break that off, because I folded the hackle back. Trim away this wee bit of fluff. And then what I'm going to do here is just put a wee bit of varnish on my thread. Just be careful. And then wet finish. And a wee bit of fluff in my thread here. Sometimes this happens, so I'm just going to be patient. Because I don't want to pull this into the head. Sometimes this happens when you're working with fine fibre, and especially a fine dubbing. There we go, that's it clear. And slide it up. Just put my nail in the side of the hook. Tighten the thread. Trim away my thread. And there we are. And that's the Waterhen done. Or basically a Waterhen blower with a wing. It's as simple as that. A lot of movement in it. It's a great fly beginning the season out. That will reduce a lot. It will reduce right down once you start to fish it. I mean, to give you an idea, I've rolled the wing I got together here just to show you. It will reduce, and that's what happens when it's being fished. So it's equivalent to a good large spring dun coming off. Good as well, even when the Marks Browns coming off I've got on this fly. And there we are. And that's, as I say, the Waterhen dun. Nice old style wet fly. So hope you enjoyed that. And again, thanks for watching.